So let's talk a little bit about how the typical IT budget process happens in a small and medium-sized business. The business leader knows, comes towards the end of the year, he has to start thinking about the budget, so he turns over to whoever that trusted individual is, the IT guy or whatever it is, say, hey, Joe, Bob, what are we going to spend next year? So Bob loves this. Bob gets a rundown, he goes back to his office, he pulls out the paper and he starts looking at all the different things he wants to do. Oh, I could bring in this big solution. I could get myself some additional training. Oh, I've always wanted to deal with some wireless technologies. Oh, I want a new firewall. All these different things. It becomes a Christmas wish list, right? You can almost see I want a pony at the bottom of the thing. So he writes everything down on this list, and since he's been taught and trained, he puts the cost, right? Because he has to hand it back to the business person, and it has to have the cost on it. So he hands this back to the business leader. Well, the business leader looks through it and pretends to pay attention to all the nerdy stuff that's on the top and thumbs through and gets down to the bottom line. What are they looking at? They're looking at the cost, right? And what does the business leader do? The business leader says, you crazy? You think we're made of money? We can't, that's just too much money, and hands it back to IT Bob. Well, IT Bob then is kind of sad because he might not get his jet ski and his pony and his additional server, goes back and he starts crossing out different items on the list. And he hands it back to the business leader at some point. And they play this gnip-gnop back and forth. It's not based on any of the technologies. It's not based on any of the business values. It's based on what? The dollar value at the bottom. Is that any way to make a business decision? No, you need to know what those technologies do. You need to know what impact they will have on your business. Negotiating over a bottom line will never give you the benefit you want. Almost every company we've spoken to and have worked with has an experience of spending money on something and finding out it didn't bring them much benefit. A lot of that is tied to, in fact, most of that is tied to this bad budget process. My process was focused on spending a certain amount of money, and I can guarantee almost every company that did this spent that amount of money and more. But it didn't add direct value to the company. They had no way of evaluating it. They had no way of holding it accountable. A proper IT process should clearly delineate why the project's coming in, what business initiative's tied to, what success of that business initiative is. So the good news is if you put these two items side by side and compare them and hold it accountable, you'll be successful with your IT expenditures. The bad news is if you just keep negotiating on that bottom line, you're never going to be happy with your technology, and it's always going to be a frustration when you have to spend to support it.